The Vajra Economy. We are holding the diamond. It shines from within us, attracting the forces of extraction and exploitation who want to remove it and keep it for themselves. What they don't know is that the diamond we have is also a weapon. It is an indestructible thrower of thunderbolts. It shatters all enemy forces and withstands all pressures, becoming more brilliant and precious with every attempt at destruction. It is not stealable. It is not replicable. It cannot be copied. It cannot be faked. This diamond is the Vajra, the essence of truth, the core of who we are, the soul of love, the energy of creativity, the brilliance of innovation. The methods of the exploitation economy are no match for its power. It has survived all previous systems of oppression and will survive this one as well. It has survived multiple lifetimes of abuse, slavery, exile, imprisonment, ridicule. It has survived co-opting by corporations, imitation by marketing firms, and mockery by mainstream consciousness. It has survived spiritual materialism, the confusion of the modern seeker, the avoidance of the politically aware, the commodification of the spiritually hip. It has survived the annihilation of language, the bastardization of sacred words, the conversion of symbols into trinkets and memes. The Vajra carries within it the essence of human aliveness, the true nature of love, the source of creativity, and the transformative power of connection. It must be approached with humility, respect, reverence, and awe. It cannot be coaxed out through force, through manipulation, through dishonesty, or through fake awakenings. If you are carrying the Vajra, you are a spiritual warrior whose power is needed for the future. If you are carrying the Vajra, know that you have this power within you, that no one can take it from you, that it is truly indestructible and cannot be destroyed. Soon the time will come for us to step forward into the Vajra economy, and we will need each and every Vajra warrior to be prepared to fight. We will fight with the weapons of truth, aliveness, compassion, and connection. We will fight with the eternal, indestructible power of love. The Vajra economy is the beating heart underneath the death and destruction wrought by capitalism. Can you hear it?
Oh my God. I can hear it. Yes. Thank God. Thank you. Excellent job.
Thank you.
We are Seeking Mount Parnassus podcast. I am the poet formerly known as Derek.
And I'm Katana.
Today we are talking about a indestructible diamond of truth, which is the Vajra. We created this term called the Vajra economy, and that is where we're headed as a human race, whether you like it or not. Whether you know or not, that's what's happening. And we just wanted to let you know, in case you're confused, that we're still in some other way, that when you start to die out, you'll know why, and why there's no one helping you when it starts happening, if you're not a part of it.
I mean, it's already happening.
Oh, yeah, right.
I think it's already happening and we're already in it.
Right.
Some of us are already in it. It's happening underneath and alongside.
Right.
What else is going on.
Right.
And maybe it's actually always been happening because it is the truth. It's the truth of how things actually are,
right.
How things actually work. And all of these other things are on the surface level of appearance and materialism that people buy into and think that's the way things work.
Right.
They think money is the answer. They think greed is the answer. They think exploiting people is the answer, or exploiting the earth is the answer. But it doesn't actually work.
No.
Because what's really going on is the Vajra economy is the way things work, actually.
Right. Exactly, yeah. So our idea is that we've been living in our lives And up to this point, we're living in this system that we didn't pick. You know, one of the things I first said when I've met you is, what is that thing I said?
Who agreed to this?
Who agreed to this? You know, I'm walking around the town. Who agreed to this way of life? We drive around in cars, pull out little tiny rectangles of plastic, place them on little other types of machines, and then that lets us get other things. Who agreed to this? I didn't agree to this. I was born into this system. You know, so we've been living in this way of life since we've been alive, at least in this lifetime, and we have discovered that it doesn't work.
Yeah,
we haven't been able to make it work, and we haven't bought into it, and it doesn't work. The only thing it does is create disparity and misery and suffering for most humans on Earth. And there's another way, and that other way is called the Vajra economy that we invented. Although we didn't invent it, it's just the truth.
We discovered it.
Yeah, we discovered it. We had an inspiration for it, actually. The truth is, compassion is the right answer. Honest, open interactions is the right answer. Trying to help others out of just pure compassion is the right answer. When you introduce exploitation into the equation, you get what we've got going on right now. And that's wrong. It doesn't work. And it's blowing off. It's going away. And we're creating a new paradigm that we're involved with right now. And it's called the Vajra economy. And it's about open, honest, truthful, loving human connections that integrate the land, and all beings and structures that are involved on the land together in one economy. And yeah, I don't know, kind of lost it there.
Yeah, and we could talk about the term too. You know, why did we choose to use the word economy? I think it was partly just to put the two words together,
right?
That haven't gone together. Vajra is a term that comes. It's a Sanskrit word. It comes originally from Indra, the Hindu god Indra, as it's a spiritual weapon,
right? The
Vajra, and it basically is you throw it. That's how it works, and it emits thunderbolts,
right?
So it's been used to battle demons and darkness,
right?
And I absolutely feel like the capitalist system is a force of darkness, and there are a lot of demons that are finding a place to hide,
right,
in that system, and it is spiritual warfare, absolutely,
right.
So that's where Vajra comes from. Although then it was adopted by Tibetan Buddhism through the tantric path, or what's also called Vajrayana,
right?
The Vajra vehicle, or the vehicle of the indestructible diamond,
right? Which is just the truth. It's kind of, it's just like a representation of the truth,
right?
As a spiritual weapon,
right? And we've been using the word for different things. I've got this long history with Tibetan Buddhism, but I think now what we are doing is taking the symbolism and the language and merging it into our own understanding of other things as well, bringing things together that haven't been put together. And I think it's absolutely time that they be put together.
Right.
They're needed in that way, because the political side of things, and particularly anarchism, which we both have a history with as well, is missing a spiritual awareness.
Right.
I was going to ask you why. I mean, you were saying that anarchism is associated with atheism.
Correct.
Is it because of just like a patriarchal God authority figure, do you think, that they chose historically to reject religion, which then led to rejecting spirituality? Do you think that's the reason?
Yeah, I think anarchism, because it rejects, it ultimately tries to reject capitalism, but oftentimes it leads towards communism or socialism
Yeah,
or
yeah.
collectivism,
Yeah.
which collectivism and communism is exclusively linked to atheism because Karl Marx and the whole platform of Leninist propaganda and theory is atheistic in nature, and I think that became popularized because all the thinkers of that time were atheist, were just materialist, actually,
Yeah.
really just
Right.
materialist,
Right.
rejecting all possibility of a life after death,
Right.
because religion has had a stranglehold on the human race
Yeah.
since it was invented, with the Catholic Church and any type of popularized religion on
Right.
earth has used the same tools as the government to be in control of people's lives.
Yeah.
So anarchism has just expanded on those popular concepts of, well, if Christianity and the church is the master, then fuck them. There is no gods, no masters. That's one of the main slogans of anarchism.
I see.
And if you were to introduce spirituality into it, like, oh, well, you're your own god. You know, that's the thing of anarchism. You are your own god. So there can be no controller over you. But it doesn't go anywhere, as
Right.
we've seen.
Right.
Anarchism has gone absolutely nowhere
Yeah.
in the 20th century and the 21st century. Anarchism is going nowhere. It's gone nowhere. It had a possibility to flourish in the early 1900s, and it was immediately smashed, and it has not revived itself one bit. They tried to fuck around with it with libertarianism. Libertarianism expands on the principles of anarchism. It's like soft anarchism, basically.
Right.
And that, guess where that's going? Nowhere.
Right.
Because it's built on nothing. It's built on the materialism.
Right.
That there is no life after death.
Right.
And that you're just the means of production should be in the hands of X, Y, Z.
Right.
Whatever you choose, whatever
Right.
your personal little idea is. It's just going nowhere. It's been going nowhere.
Yeah, I think I'm understanding why, because it's too one-sided and it is trapped in the materialist, mundane world perspective.
Right.
I mean, when we're talking about materialist, we're talking about the belief that the only things that are real are material world.
Right.
And it's interesting right now, we've got the Taurus moon conjunct Uranus at this moment.
Right.
I mean, within 2 degrees. And then the Uranus-Jupiter conjunction coming up April 20th in Taurus.
Yes.
So Taurus is associated with materialism. I mean, with the actual material of the world.
Right.
And also with money and other kinds of materialism, but with the physicality of things. And Jupiter is linked with values and with faith, and Uranus with awakening and shakeups and electricity, thunderbolts. So I think that possibly the timing of all of this has to do with that, and the Vajra economy coming through to us at this time, that as that conjunction is forming already, because it's time for a total shakeup in the views of materialism and the understanding of how things are working on Earth.
Right. This keeps coming to my mind, so I have to say.
Yeah.
Before we started this podcast, I was listening to The Exploited, the band called The Exploited. You should look them up. I'll put a link in the show notes. The Exploited is a band that they've been around since 1980. I think they started slightly before that. The lead singer of the band, his name is Waddy. They've been touring and making records since that time. The message pretty much is fuck the system. One of their albums is called "Fuck the System," and they aren't just talking about it. They really believe it, and they're doing it. The Exploited has never become rich and famous. The Exploited is not a household name, but they are doing what they believe in, and they've been doing it consistently and precisely for, like, what is that, 40 years?
Yeah.
Basically 40 years. That's a long time. The point of this is that the truth is the truth, and it has no expiration date. We are on the path of the truth ourselves, and the reason that I was attracted to the exploited is because they're just saying the truth without being afraid of what popular opinion might be. Sometimes they say things that are not acceptable in mainstream culture most of the time.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You should be able to say the truth anytime and be able to be yourself. And the truth is loud. The truth is live. The truth is here. No matter how much you close your eyes and put your fingers in your ears, the truth is loud. I think the point is that the Exploited, the band, is a punk band, and they scream into the mic the truth as they see it. And you can try to deny the truth as much as you can, but it's not going anywhere because that's just how it works. And I think now at this time on Earth, we're ready for the truth. At least some people are. Some people are still putting their head down and putting their fingers in their ears and closing their eyes. But the other people like us, people listening on Fountain, those people in Nepal, we have some listeners in Nepal, in South America, in Brazil, in Mexico, in Latvia, in Japan. The truth is indestructible and cannot be stopped, no matter what political bullshit system exists.
Right.
Good luck trying to stamp out anything.
Right.
Look what happened to the Sandinistas. You know, the freedom fighters. Nothing really happened, but they still are out there. You know, there's still these crazy fuckers in the jungles doing God knows what with the CIA and the U.S. government and all these other organizations tried to stamp them out systematically. It just didn't work. Same thing happened in Afghanistan. I mean, the land that never was conquered by anyone ever, because that's just how it works. You know, the truth and the spirit of the human and the spirit of love never can be ever stamped out by the forces of imperialism, colonialism, capitalism, communism, socialism, blah blah blah. It can never be stamped out because it's too powerful. It's too real. And no, if there's one person alive that knows that, it will never die. Just like Wadi's got to be 60 some. The lead singer, Wadi, the lead singer of the Exploited.
Oh, I see.
He still has a red mohawk to this day. And still is screaming into the mic. That shit is old and over, supposedly.
Yeah.
He doesn't give one shit about that. He's touring all over Europe, you know?
Right. However, the limitations of that, as we've discussed before, is that it's anti. I mean, I think you showed me that video. It said something about the anti-something.
Right.
You know, that is actually over.
Oh, right,
as
yeah,
well.
right.
I mean, because and I think that's part of the problem that has been with anarchism too.
Right.
If you're caught up in being anti something, you're not able to create something else.
Right.
And fighting against something has its time and place.
Right.
But we're past that at this point.
Right.
And the time now is for creating something new or just getting in line with what's actually happening,
right,
and shedding all of the false and shedding the need to fight against.
Right.
It's like it seems spiritually immature to me to just be trapped always in the anti position.
Right.
And I think, I mean, that's the problem with anarchist theory as well. Is it's just they can't get out of the box fully.
Right.
Because they've trapped themselves into the materialist realm. So they can only look at certain things.
Right.
You know, now the language is dominated by race, gender, class, intersections. It's been like that for a while.
Right.
20 some years at least since I was in college,
Right.
which we talked about in that other episode, the Love is the Law.
Right.
But it's just too limiting.
Mm-hmm.
And because they're not allowing, it hasn't been merged with a truly spiritual perspective.
Right.
And then the spiritual people, the so-called spiritual people, or the spiritually hip, as I said in my piece,
Right.
are liberals.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they're abiding by liberal rules
Right.
of what they can talk about and how to talk about it and this and that. Then, so the two have just not met.
No.
You know, it's like if you're trying to do something different economically, you're on one side of this spectrum.
Right.
If you're trying to do something different spiritually speaking, you're on another one.
Right.
They haven't come together, and we've looked for something,
Right.
and it just doesn't exist. So hence the birth of the Vajra economy.
Right. Right. The political path has failed.
Yeah.
And the ones that are linked with innovation on the political path are often linked to conservatives.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
libertarians, conservatives,
Yeah.
Starting Bitcoin,
Yeah.
trying to create another system,
Yeah.
which really is just capitalism
Yeah.
with a different currency. That
Right.
you know,
Right.
and then the spiritual yoga pants wearing,
Right.
retreat offering.
Holding space.
Yeah, bullshit.
Types.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
That is linked to liberal
Yeah.
politics. You know, if you're wearing yoga pants right now and you're going to a retreat this weekend, I bet that you're also going to vote on the blue.
Yeah.
You're voting blue.
Yeah.
You possibly even are wearing a shirt that says vote blue
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
This is going to fail. It's failed already. And the fact that it's not known is just because the time hasn't came.
Right.
And the time is coming. So that's just how it works. That's just the truth.
So let's talk about how the Vajra economy works.
Okay.
I mean, this idea came to us just like 2 nights ago, I think.
Right.
So we haven't written out a
No.
whole thing. That piece I read, I just wrote this morning.
Right.
So we have a sense of what it is,
Mhm.
but maybe this is an opportunity to see what comes through in terms of how it works.
Right.
I mean, I think that the thing about truth
Hmm.
is the law of reality, or the universal law,
Right.
which has been a thing identified by others, and I believe is something.
Mhm.
You know, it's a universal law of love,
Right.
of karma. You know, I do think karma is operative. All karma means is cause and effect.
Right.
Really. I mean, the word itself means action,
Right.
but in principle, it means cause and effect. It means that if you plant a seed, something grows from that seed that is related to the seed. You can't plant a seed of a carrot and expect a potato to grow.
Right.
It's basic, you
Right.
know, just basic.
Right.
But I think that those are kind of the beginning things.
Right. So if you build a system based on the truth and compassion, the number one thing that needs to be included in any interaction is the truth and compassion and open honesty. If I want to help someone, then it needs to be out of a honest, truthful motivation. If my motivation is manipulation or coercion or exploitation, it won't work. That's called capitalism. That's called some sort of ism.
Yeah.
But if it's, I just want to help this person out of compassion, and I believe that our mutual interaction is based on compassion and a loving frequency, then this is in line with the Vajra economy. If not, it's capitalism or some other type of ism that's built upon exploitation and manipulation.
Yeah, because I think the thing that always happens with anarchism or with anyone that's trying to propose something truly different, the devil's advocate is, well, what do you propose? How are we going to live?
Right.
How is the financial system going to work? How is the government going to work? And unfortunately, people have just gotten caught in that hook
Right.
by then using the same language, the same concepts, and the same principles that are running the current system,
Right.
and trying to like reshape them into a new version
Right.
of that. Whereas actually the answer is that the answer will be revealed.
Right.
There is no predetermined answer for everyone where we're saying this is the way things
Right.
have to go.
Right.
Other than we have to act in accordance with natural law and universal law of love, of compassion, of truth. Once you're doing that, then the flow can come through you
Right.
and reconnect you to every other being, to the earth, to the energy that's flowing.
Right.
And then that reveals the next step, which is how we've been living
Right.
for a little over a year now, fully,
Right.
not knowing. We don't know the next answer. We still don't know the next answer of where are we going next? What are we doing next? Because it doesn't work that way. It's you have to live it, and then it comes to you. And by connecting yourself with the actual flow
Right.
of what's happening, then things start to show up. Or, I mean, some people call that the law of synchronicity.
Right.
But,
or manifestation.
Yeah.
The spiritually hip would say manifestation.
Yeah, but the whole way of doing manifestation is off.
Right.
Because it's too much about gain. It's personal gain and ego-driven desires.
Right.
How do you know that what is the best thing for you and for your loved ones and for everyone that is affected by you is that you buy that house or you get the house you want?
Right.
You're going to manifest this house.
Right.
But what if that's not in line with what's needed?
Right.
So there's this balance of creation and receptivity, I think, that just goes back and forth all the time, but which is not dependent on a God. There's no God in our world system, view, whatever you want to call it.
No, love is God. It's not a person.
Yeah.
It's just the feeling, the energy, the frequency of love. That's the truth, and that is what you would call God. That is what they call God. They just have religion uses it for control purposes, but it's really just love. That's all. Yeah. That's every message is just love. Jesus, Muhammad, the Buddha, it's all the same exact message. It's just love. That's it. I think an example would be helpful.
Yeah.
We are living, one of our things is philosophy in action. We're living our experiment in real time right now. We have figured out that some things for our lives won't work. Some things that won't work are, we cannot work in a job, a regular type of job, where it's like a 40-hour week job where we leave the house, go exchange our labor for dollars. We've decided that won't work for us. The reason we've decided that is because we've tried it for 20, 30 years, and what resulted in that is unhappiness at a core fundamental level. So, okay, there's step one. We have determined working a 40-hour a week job in the capitalist system won't work for us. So that means we have to find some other way
to live,
to live, to be alive. We've also discovered that we can't do any other kind of transactions in that way either. We can't we want to live, but we refuse to participate in the mortgage system. We're not going to go to a bank and apply for a mortgage and then get a 30-year mortgage in exchange for this land. That won't work for us. We know this because we've done it. We've already tried it. What happened when we did it? Ultimately, fundamental unhappiness. So there's another thing. Cross that off the list.
Yeah.
Can't work, can't get a mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
So that means we have to proceed in life and figure out a different way to live. And that's what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing it in real time with no examples of how. We're just making it up as we go. Mm-hmm. And what we're finding is that it works. It can work. And it is going to work. Mm-hmm. And it is the only way forward, because the system itself is collapsing. It's just doing it. It's going slow. No one wants to work. There's not enough people to do the jobs that there used to be. The traditional American dream has died a long fucking time ago. It's still being propelled like you should do it. So we're trying out a new way to live, and we're doing it in real time. We're truly doing it. And this is the Vajra economy, and this is what you can be a part of as well. If you're living in South America or anywhere you're living on Earth right now, and listening to this, the way that this works is value for value, love, positive exchanges. I don't know.
Yeah, it's we had a previous episode called "You Must Make Your Own Map." That's a line from a poem by Joy Harjo. It goes something like, "There is no map, you must make your own map."
Yeah.
I think that the misconception is that you're going to know the whole map ahead of time.
Yeah.
And that in order to do anything different, you're going to have a whole plan laid out before you can make any move.
Right.
That's a myth. And that is a destructive myth perpetuated by capitalism and by religion and by all of these other authorities.
Right.
Because it's a part of the fear barrier that they've erected to anyone taking any kind of leap.
Right.
We were just talking last night about some silly thing in our life. It's not that consequential. But we were saying, it was a mistake. Maybe we shouldn't have done this. We shouldn't. But it's not really that big of a mistake.
Right.
But then we realized, you know what? Mistakes are necessary.
Right.
We have to make mistakes because that's what being alive involves.
Right.
You got to take a risk, and you don't know exactly how it's going to turn out. But if you are open to learning from the experience, then that alone is going to be worth it. You're going to learn something. It's going to inform the next step. It's going to help you recalibrate your compass so that that's not exactly north. Okay, we got to go slightly this way. And as far as I understand, you know more about navigation than I do. But as far as I understand it, it's basically just a constant process of correction.
Yeah.
You're a little bit off that way. A little bit off that way. And that's how you get there.
Right.
There's not it's not a preset thing that just follow along this road. I mean, if you're going to be doing that, then you're going to follow what's already been tried and failed.
Right. Over and over and over again.
Yeah. So I think that's that's maybe the next step. You listed these two, which the reason we can't do those things, by the way, is because they're soul killers.
Right.
I mean, and we believe and know from our experience that we are souls. We're not just bodies. This is not one incarnation in this physical body.
Right.
We have soul. We have a reason that we're here, and it's something we're working on over lifetimes.
Right.
So anything that kills the soul is not worth it.
Right.
It's just not worth it, because the only thing that we're going to take with us when we die is our soul.
Right.
And the emotional, memories and love and
Right.
the spiritual lessons we've learned,
Mm-hmm.
those are the things. That's
Right.
it.
Right.
That's it. Money, houses, possessions, accomplishments, reputation, all this shit is gone.
Right.
It will not go with us.
No.
This is also the Vajra economy.
Right.
The Vajra economy is the eternal, the thing that carries on beyond this lifetime, that is worth doing. It's like a spiritual savings account. I don't even like using these terms, but that makes sense.
Right. Right.
You know, that you're actually building something that is of value and is going to be indestructible.
Right.
It's not going to be not only just subject to the whims of the current economy, like your retirement funds,
Right.
but actually not even subject to death.
No.
That it cannot be killed, it cannot be destroyed. Even if this lifetime goes as bad as it possibly can on Earth, which we know we've had that experience before.
Right.
We're still here.
Right.
We made it.
We made it. We made it after being executed many times.
So that is part of the Vajra economy. Anything that kills the soul, no.
Right.
Mortgages are slavery, and then they trap you into having to do this other thing, which
Right.
kills the soul.
Right.
That's the only reason. Also because they're fake, and they're not based on anything except for financial scams.
Right.
That has nothing to do with the value of the physical house. You don't own it.
No.
It's all a pyramid scheme,
Right.
which everyone knows, by the way. I mean, it was totally revealed for sure in 2008,
Right.
but it's continued because the government keeps funneling money into it.
Right.
So then another thing would be there's no preset path.
Right.
This is not, you can't really have the 5 and 10-year plan of what are you going to do and what are the steps you're going to take to get there.
Right.
This is another thing we've been working on, is like, how do we balance the vision of the future and feeling the pull of destiny or the calling with not really fully knowing exactly the shape it's going to take.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to lock ourselves into some particular thing. We need to publish this book, and this is the only way we're going to make it.
Right.
We don't know exactly.
No.
And we can hold a vision of an energy and of a feeling, maybe.
Right.
But in terms of like physical manifestations, I think that's where the whole manifesting thing got a little whacked out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the basis of our economy is the truth, which doesn't die. It's the most economies need some sort of physical currency to be built upon. Mm-hmm. And in the Vajra economy, the truth is the eternal money that's used lifetime after lifetime. When you are born, you get to your bank account is already open, and you collect what you've put into it in the previous lifetime. You may have put into it some serious fucked up shit, and now you're a dog that gets beaten every day and then gets hit by a car. You know, damn, you didn't put enough in to the savings account that is building this Vajra economy. So since that's the case, there's simply no need in any way to ever subject yourself to being exploited while you're alive. It's pointless, because when you die, you're gonna get your karma that you've put into your savings account and use it again.
I mean, kind of sounds a little bit like you're gonna die and go to heaven, you know. I mean, it's a little bit. It's different than that.
Yeah.
But keep going.
It's just, I don't know. I lost it.
Sorry, I mean to interrupt you. I was being the devil's advocate of like, well, you just need to be, religion.
This is the thing. I'm starting to get annoyed. I don't want to explain myself. I don't want to prove I'm right.
That's true.
I'm tired of telling, this is the problem with anarchism and libertarianism and all this other fucking bullshit. listen to me. I figured out,
Right.
here's my button, wear my patch,
Right.
and do my thing I invented that I trademarked, and then you'll be happy too. I don't know what you're gonna do. Good luck. Someone told me this yesterday on the phone. I was
Right.
seeking out his life insurance policy. I was like, I don't know, this seems like it could be better rate. He's like, good luck, and that was it. That's what I say to you. Good luck. I don't know what you're gonna do.
Right.
I don't know what the fuck.
Right.
I'm trying to explain to myself again, over and over again. How can we explain to you if you're listening to this? How are we supposed to explain to you what the Vajra economy is and our ideas of how to live? If you haven't figured it out by now, good luck. Maybe next time.
Mm-hmm.
If you're listening to this on Fountain, maybe. If you're listening to this on Apple, probably not. If you're listening to on Spotify, probably not.
Yeah.
If you're, if you're participating, if you're going to Pizza Hut, it's good luck. Maybe next time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not trying to denigrate anyone or say anything.
Yeah.
It's just that these types of things. I mean, also this anger thing. You have anger. You're an angry person.
Yeah.
It should be angering to everyone the way that we're alive on Earth.
Yeah.
In this current way,
Yeah.
everyone should be pissed.
Right.
No one should participate in the things that they're participating in.
Yeah.
You should quit your job right now, and start living the truth of what your life is.
Right.
Look at your wife or husband right now. Is it right? If not, get the fuck out of the house right now. Look at your kids. Did you want to even have these kids?
Right. Right.
This is the truth, and this is what's really going on, and this is what's hurting humanity and has been hurting humanity for a long time. Is falseness.
Yeah.
And the more that we go along this path that Katana and I are on, the more we learn that we simply can't participate in anything that is a lie. And that precludes us from pretty much a lot of shit.
Right.
But what it also does is puts us into situations where we can be free. Mm-hmm. We're free. Mm-hmm. We're especially soul free.
Yeah.
We know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen, but we know that there's more going on than what we can see.
Right.
We know that after death there is more, and we know that before we were born there's more, and that's enough. Mm-hmm. And I know that the path will show itself to us, but constantly trying to explain ourselves about how, I don't know. There's something about it that just is annoying. It's annoying.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fine line between are we trying to explain ourselves? Are we trying to justify ourselves? Are we trying to convince other people?
Right.
Or are we just expressing the truth?
Right.
Like you say. And I think that that's a tricky balance, especially right now. Mercury is in Aries, which is conjunct your Jupiter at the moment, and conjunct my ascendant. Mm-hmm. And then we've got the North Node in Aries, like we've been talking about for everyone. Aries is about the truth, but it's also about anger and advocacy and fighting and direct confrontation.
Right.
So I think that there's that energy going on and coming through. Mm-hmm. And I think you're right. We don't want to be convincing anyone. Mm-hmm. And we don't, it's incredibly frustrating.
Yeah.
And can make you nuts after a while.
Yeah.
Of trying to argue with people that don't understand. Mm-hmm. There's no point in doing that. Right. No one has ever been led to a true spiritual awakening by arguing with someone else.
No.
So I think, definitely we don't want to do that.
No.
And we also want to express the truth as we know it.
Right.
And we also want to be accountable to ourselves and to be clear about what it is that we're saying and doing. And so I think sometimes it's helpful exercise to distinguish between, well, how is this different than that?
Right.
Not to say we have to prove it or we have to explain it,
Right.
but that we have to have the intellectual rigor ourselves and the critical thinking ourselves to be able to identify mistakes or faulty thinking or reasoning that other people fall into.
Right.
So we can clearly see there's something faulty in the reasoning of, well, just live your life for heaven, and then once you get to heaven, everything will be okay.
Right.
But what is I guess that's what I was just trying to get at, is what is the fault in that reasoning that is not, it's not the same as ours, not to prove it to anybody else, but so that I can understand it fully and know why it makes sense. Because I think, that's really the thing. That's another thing about the Vajra economy is the truth. What is the truth? The truth has to be able to be subject to any amount of fire, pressure. It's like the alchemy.
Basic questions,
openness to questions. So it's about the spirit of the question, I guess. If the question is coming from someone who's just trying to call you out, persecute you, mock you, has absolutely no openness to what you're talking about, then fuck them. There's just no point.
Right.
I've had that same problem with a lot of different things, like with the horse world. I do things differently than other people. I've gotten into a lot of arguments with people about why I don't agree with the way they're doing it.
Right.
But then I realized it's just pointless. It's pointless to argue with other people. I'm going to do it my way. They're going to do it their way.
Right.
The shorthand I've gotten to, and I said it to someone yesterday, is this is how I do it. I don't use bits in horses' mouths. I don't put metal shoes on my horse's feet. I'm training my mare, Vajra, to ride without a bridle altogether. So can you handle that? Can I work with you and you can handle that?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Right.
I'm not going to argue about why, or, I've already made a decision that that's the right thing. That's in line with the truth for me. I don't have to prove it to anybody.
Right.
But I do have to know, can they handle it? I don't know why I'm going off on that. I just did not argue with people,
right?
That don't care or that aren't interested. If someone's genuinely interested and they want to understand, and you can feel that the energy is open, then I don't think there's a problem with explaining.
No, that just hasn't happened.
Yeah.
I haven't really experienced that.
Yeah.
Except for you.
With me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We never get that way with each other.
No.
We get defensive, or because we can feel that the questions are just trying to lead deeper into the truth.
Right.
Are you still mad?
A little bit.
What
it's
else?
just the feeling, this old feeling of how are we supposed to live? This happens to me almost not every single day, but often. How are we supposed to live? We're just trying to live. We've done our best in life, and people just don't have any compassion. Some. Some people we've met don't have compassion, and it can be difficult to continue to live when you're met with discompassionate experiences in your life. And I think that it's difficult, and this is why people continue on the path of just going along with the system, because there's no other way, and they're met with so many negative experiences, so many bad people that they meet, that there's no proof that it's even possible to live a different way, So we're trying to do it. We're doing it. Yeah, we're doing it, and even still, it's still a struggle to live in a way. We can't just do whatever we want. We don't have open freedom in every arena of our life. We are able to be happy and do what we choose to do, but we're still constrained with society at large, and it's challenging. I think this is a challenging question for most people that are on the cutting edge of anything. How do you continue on when you know that there's more going on than can be seen? I think this is how, like, people that are trying to do something, like there's this event called Anarchapulco. A lot of presenters go to this place in Mexico and they talk about freedom. A lot of presenters about Bitcoin and alternative systems, but it's difficult. Most people think they're nuts and just straight up discount them or ridicule them. It's difficult to be on the cutting edge of anything, because no one can see that no one can see what we can see. It's a small community, if there even is a community at all. And I'm guessing, if you're listening to this, that you probably feel similar. I mean, the number one question to why, well, what are we supposed to do?
Right.
Well, what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to do? What,
Right.
I don't know. The only thing I know is that these basic truths are hurting me. I can't do certain things. So that means I'm still alive. So I have to just keep doing this. I have to say the truth into this microphone. I know that. I know that we have love in our relationship. I know that we have love in our personal connections with the horses and the few people we know, and that's enough. I don't know about the future or how the economy of the world is going to figure itself out, or but I do know that on an individual level, that we're doing it and we're trying our best. We're trying to do it, and I know that it's going to work. I just do, and it's difficult, but it's also the only way. It's the only way forward. That's the truth. I can't pretend. That's the other problem. I can't get a job and pretend like this is good. You think I'm going to exchange my electrical work for $45 an hour?
Yeah.
That's good.
Right.
I would rather do something that's helpful, beneficial, and in line with the truth. Remodeling someone's kitchen for vanity isn't going to work for me. No matter how much money, physical fiat currency you pay me, it doesn't make me feel good. So that, we're at that point. And I think if you're listening to this right now, you probably are too. And what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? We are going to do it together. There's an option. We can create the economy ourselves. If there's two people, that's enough. And if you're listening to this, that's enough. Call us, email us, do a little boost on Fountain, or turn this off right now and go outside and tell the truth. Go outside and tell the truth as much as you can to everyone you know. Be the truth, whatever it is. Like the Gandhi thing. Be the change you want to see in the world, but really actually do it. Don't be a clone of some liberal fuckhead or a clone of some conservative dickhead. Be yourself and tell the truth, whatever that is. I know that you're an excellent person and you have an excellent soul and that you have a lot to offer. You're more than a poop picker-upper. You're way more than a delivery driver. You're a eternal shining diamond of love. That's the truth. And just show it out, show it to everyone.
Yeah, I think that is the only thing to do. And the problem is that things are backwards and we try to figure them out backwards. The first thing is you have to be in the right frequency.
Right.
You have to get in the right frequency by being honest, by being yourself,
Right.
by being loving. I mean, those things all go together.
Right.
You can't be loving if you're not being honest.
Right.
You can't be compassionate if you're not being who you really are,
Right.
etc.
Right.
You know, they all go together and they all start to flow together
Right.
once you start doing it.
Right.
And then you get better at doing it.
Right.
But that's the first thing.
Right.
The first thing is not, what are we going to do about money? The first thing is, we need to wake the fuck up.
Right.
This is not the way to live.
Right.
We're not even living.
Right.
Everyone is shut down. Everyone's tuned out. Everyone's disconnected.
Right.
That's wrong.
Right.
It's not in line with the
truth.
truth. So first, it's that. It
Right.
has to start with that. Then the other things reveal themselves.
Right.
And actually, they lose their power, because even for us, we still use money. We still have money.
Right.
Sometimes we
Right.
have to go to the store. We're not totally self-sustaining. We don't grow all of our own food.
No,
haven't,
no.
we're not doing that way.
No.
So we have to pay money to get food.
Right.
But we also know money isn't real.
Right.
And therefore, we have no real attachment to it.
Right.
It's like the numbers are on the screen, then they're not on the screen. Who cares?
Right.
And the less attachment there is, the less blocks there are. And
Right.
so then it just starts to flow more naturally, and we're less hung up on it.
Right.
You know, what's going to happen next? I don't know. But that's what I've seen so far.
Right.
Is that the less seriously we take it, because it's not real, we know it's not real.
Right.
And it doesn't work.
Right.
So we can disconnect from it or see through it. I mean, that's the other piece of the Vajra and the,
right.
you know, of the destroying. It's destroying demons and darkness, but it's also destroying delusions.
Right. Right. Yeah, the Vajra, the point of it is it's a spiritual weapon.
Yeah.
The reason why we are the way we are now is because the Vajra and the truth has changed us, and we can no longer participate in lies. And it's not like a choice. It's just the truth. If you jump off of the roof, you'll fall down onto the ground. That's the way we're living. If we talk to someone, we have to say the truth. We have to be ourselves. I can't manipulate people.
Right.
I can't enter into contracts that I know to be wrong. I can't do things I feel are wrong.
Right.
And that's just the truth. And everything else will work itself out.
Right.
Because that's how it works.
Right.
You know, I'm trying to be honest, and I'm not trying to be honest. I'm honest.
Yes.
I'm not trying to be anything.
No.
I'm just it. That's it. And that's the truth. And that's the truth for everyone. But the first step is to feel it and let go of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you were saying right before we started recording, you were saying to me, we don't have to think about it. We just be.
Right.
We're already connected. We're already in the frequency of love. We're already open.
Right.
That's what we need to do. Now all that's coming through is the truth.
Right.
If other people don't like it or whatever, who cares?
Right.
It's completely irrelevant.
Right.
We can feel completely confident knowing that we are connected to the truth. And therefore, whatever we say and whatever we do has a purpose.
Right.
We may not understand why we're doing it even.
Right.
But it fits, and it is part of the Vajra economy. And I think, I mean, that's even another way to think about it. Like the Vajra economy is existing. It's the matrix of the underneath matrix of the energy and how things work. And then the whole capitalist thing, maybe I have it reversed. Like the matrix is like the hologram, right?
Okay.
Is that right? I mean, in the movie The Matrix, the Matrix is the hologram.
Yeah,
like it's false.
Yeah, the Matrix
right?
is the false.
But what's the real thing?
The real world is when they're unplugged. They're in that
and
ship.
Then what are they in?
They're in this.
Ship.
They're in this fucked up Earth. That the Earth has been destroyed by the robots. There's no sun. The sky's all fucked up.
Yeah.
And that's the truth.
That's dark.
Right.
Which is another problem. I mean, all that stuff, it's always like that.
Right. Right.
You know,
Right.
like all the speculative fiction, the science fiction, the imaginations about the future, it's always like that.
Right.
So we're proposing the opposite of that.
Right.
That actually, when you unplug from the false, what's really going on is love.
Right.
And something that's the sun is shining.
Right.
And the earth is communicating with us. And we have everything we need to live. And everyone is peacefully coexisting in harmony.
Right.
And we all understand. I mean, that's what's really going on because that is the truth.
It is the truth.
I mean, we are all connected.
Right.
Everything is energy, and the energy is all one thing.
Right.
There's no way of being separate from the earth or from each other. And that's why the extractive economy is not in line with the truth.
Right.
You know, we are the earth. So if you do something to harm the earth, you're harming yourself.
Right.
That's the truth.
Right.
So it's there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's probably the only thing that's holding us together.
Right.
It's the only thing that's keeping this whole thing going.
Right.
That we're surviving despite all of this other shit that's so dark and destructive. How is it possible? Because underneath all of that is the Vajra economy. And there is still enough goodness happening that it's staying alive.
Right.
I mean, is it possible to destroy that? I don't know. I mean, the premise of the Vajra would be that it's indestructible.
Right.
Maybe it's not possible to destroy it. It just goes on and on. You know, it's been a long ass time.
Yeah.
We've been living in this dark age.
Right.
But perhaps the Vajra is still shining and it will be revealed. I mean, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, the Vajra is still shining. The diamond, it never fades. You just got to dust it off. That's the truth.
Yeah.
And the energy of love, the frequency of love is the truth. It never dies. It never goes away. It can never be stamped out. It is eternal. When I say eternal, like actually eternal.
Yeah.
Not some weird, religious idea of the eternal damnation or eternal meaning never ending.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. And that is at the heart of the matter. And it's free. It's there. Yeah. It's always there. And it's just waiting for us to get in line with it and get on board with it so that we can all participate together with it and create what's not even like create what's necessary. That's just the truth. It will create itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. I think that's right.
Thank you for listening to this. Oftentimes we have challenging, it's challenging to be alive.
Yeah.
You're human. It's challenging. And I know that you will make it. You are a part of the Vajra economy. You have $1 trillion in your bank account. All you have to do is tap into it. It's free. It's there. You've got it. You're welcome. It's there. And I know that if you're listening to this as well, that you are on the team. We're on the same team. Yeah. We will help each other. Yes. We will help each other out on the path. We will meet someday. In the 1984, there's this quote, we will meet in the place where there is no darkness. That is what it will happen, and that is what is going to happen. And if you're listening to this, that's you. Thank you for listening. And, I think Fountain is cool. Yeah. I think you should participate in Value for Value. You should unplug from Spotify and all these other things and go to a Podcasting 2.0 platform and use it. Go for it. Do it. You can send us messages. You can create clips. You can do all this interesting stuff that's free and cool and different and not controlled. And all these other companies like Spotify and Apple and iHeartRadio, they will start doing it as well.
Mm-hmm.
They'll copy this whole thing and then they'll charge you for it. So just do it now for free and be a part of the cutting edge and make something out of life. You have $1 trillion bank account, so use it and do something excellent with it.
Soha.
Soha.